Hello everybody, welcome to Tips and Tricks Tuesday with me, Valentina Vee. Please let me know if you can see me, if you can hear me, if you can both see me and hear me. Just write in like a little purple heart in the chat room. That way I'll know that you are around. Today, our topic is After Effects, specifically a little bit more advanced After Effects than we did last week. Don't worry if you weren't here last week though. You can catch up on all of the recordings right here at this website, adobe.ly/tipstuesday. On that website, you can get not only the recordings of everything that I do, but you can also get the workbooks, which means that as you're watching my live streams, you don't have to take notes. I give you the notes. So for example, this is an example of the workbook that's up there right now. So everything that we're about to cover, content aware fill, background with Rotobrush, everything, how to chroma key green screen, it's out there for you free and downloadable. So definitely check it out. Again, that link is right here, adobe.ly/tipstuesday. There's a little thing for you to fill out there as well. I'm seeing lots of purple hearts in the chat room. There's a little thing for you to fill out, and if you fill that out, you will be entered to win a full year of Creative Cloud, which is a good deal if I do say so myself. Last week, we have a winner, Roshni Rush Bhatia. Congratulations, you have won a full year of Creative Cloud. Who will it be this time? Could be you. So go to this link, adobe.ly/tipstuesday, and check it out. Looks like we have plenty of people in the chat room. You can see everything that's going on there. But before we go ahead and jump into the lesson, I wanted to bring in a few people who are near and dear to my heart because they run a kick-ass VFX-filled amazing YouTube channel that brings you just the best content on YouTube, and I'm so excited to have them with me. So please go ahead and say hello to Ren and Clinton from Corridor Digital. Hi guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Hey.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me on my live stream.
Of course.
Yeah, this is
happy
great.
to be here.
How are you feeling today? How is your day thus far?
My day's great. I'm chilling. I showed up to the office and I had 2 renders complete, and I can't wait.
And they didn't fail?
They
oh,
didn't
man,
fail.
It's the most, like, majestic.
Ooh.
Yeah.
When I do renders, and like I'm away, I set the render, when I do exports and I'm away, I set the export to a Dropbox folder so that I can see when it like drops
That's so
later on Dropbox.
You know what I've always wanted is like some sort of app where you can hit render and you go away and you see the render progress on your phone. Maybe that exists.
Yeah, now you could do
That
like
would be amazing.
I
would love that. Hey, let's get on that. Us, all 3 of us, let's make it.
That'd be great.
So for those people who don't know, and I'm going to pull up your YouTube channel over on the screen right here. For those people who don't know, what kind of videos does Corridor make?
Ren, what do we make?
Well, we do a lot of action pieces, a lot of like visual concept-based short films. Sometimes they're silly, sometimes they're serious. We also have a whole separate channel where we kind of dive into how to do a lot of that stuff. We even have like a whole show where we kind of break down how visual effects work, but in the disguise of reacting to clips. I mean, yeah, that's what we do.
So what are your backgrounds from visual effects? Like, how did you learn this? Where did you come from? Start at the beginning of time and work your way to 2020. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the school of Andrew Kramer was the beginning of my VFX lessons.
For those who don't know, Andrew Kramer, Video Copilot, is like the grandfather of After Effects tutorials on the internet. Definitely check him out if you haven't. But anyway, continue.
He's kind of the reason we all have jobs.
I mean, yeah, if you go back far enough. I know you and I, we started roughly the same time, probably around like 2009, 2010-ish, maybe a little earlier in your case. As far as like starting to learn After Effects, when you're like, oh my God, you could do this on your home computer?
Yeah.
And then from there, it's just like you come up with new ideas that you have no idea how to achieve, and you slowly like pick away at it, and then you get the effect, and you're like, sweet, now on to the next one. You just do that enough times, and suddenly over the course of years, you suddenly become an expert.
Yeah. How about you, Clinton?
Yeah, no, it's like just online training, Video Copilot, Grayscale Gorilla for Cinema 4D, like early Freddy, early Sam and Nico. I remember being on a Skype call with Freddy and Sam and Nico, and they were like, I was living in Georgia, and they were like, "Yo, we'll help you figure out how to motion track stuff." I'm like, "You guys are the best. I don't understand any of this, but like, I appreciate it." So it's just like, diving into the community just like this and learning from people who are trying to do the same thing and figuring out, spend time with people who know more than you so you can learn from them. That's kind of how I've been doing it.
It's key.
Yeah, and I like how you said that you learn one thing and then at some point you hit a ceiling and you're like, oh man, but I wish I could track it, not just roto it, but track it. And then you have to learn the next thing and you have to learn the next thing. That's how I learned After Effects too, also self-taught, School of Andrew Kramer.
Nice.
So we're buddies in that regard. But now you do fairly advanced visual effects and you kind of show it for the whole world to see. And sometimes it goes viral. I'm talking about a little video that went so viral that I had to yell at people to take down illegal copies of it.
Oh, gosh.
If you don't know, there was there's this company, Boston Dynamics, right? And they make these robots that do like the flippies and like the gymnastics.
The jumpies and the flippies. And
the jumpies and the flippies.
Yeah.
And it's not too far to think that, oh, you know what? These robots can take over your life at some point, and can turn on their masters. And you took that to an entirely different level.
For sure.
What was that? Like, what was the idea behind that? How did you think of it?
So it all started with the technology.
We got a motion capture suit, and basically what happens a lot of time when we're trying to come up with new videos is like, all right, here's a new tool. How can we best explore this tool to make something really cool? And we had done like a little video where we tried to we did a Transformers thing where we dress up and it's like, who can transform into a truck the best? And so that was like our test, our foray into like learning the technology. And then from there, the idea kind of started developing to like, how can we like motion cap some sort of CG character? I think at one point we're trying to like figure out some sort of script for like an Amazon robot thing. And then one day it clicked, Boston Dynamics. What if, because they're always beating up the robots from Boston Dynamics. What if those robots actually fought back? And then from there, it was like, that was kind of like the seed of the idea.
Or just
Is
like
Clinton the robot?
He is,
yes.
yeah.
Or like just the idea of like getting beat up in goofy ways. I'm a huge fan of like
physical comedy.
Physical
and stuff?
comedy,
Yeah.
darker comedy. I love Stephen Chow. He's my favorite. So a lot of the humor like in this comes from my love for Stephen Chow and like how brutal his comedy can be sometimes, like his physical comedy. You feel so bad for his characters in his movies. So
But the thing is, you also executed this so well that so many people thought it was real. I mean, there's shadows, there's shadows from blast. Like, there's so much that you're doing here.
We put a lot of effort into making sure the lighting was good, the model textures were good, the tracking and compositing was good. We put a lot of time and effort into that, but at the end of the day, we're still kind of like, to us, it still seems obvious that this is like a CG thing.
Yeah,
so
like, there's no way.
We're like, it's a cool video, but like, obviously this is a fake thing. So we're like, upload it and move on to the next thing. But then like it went live, I think on a Friday. And by the end of Sunday on Twitter, the video had like 25 million views in just those 2 days before it finally got taken down. And it was because everyone thought it was real and they kept sharing it. Like celebrities were like, what is going on?
I think the other thing that's really cool about you guys is that not only are you VFX artists, but you're also YouTubers. So you're in your own videos. Mostly you don't see VFX artists put their faces out there or become people who are known for something. You know, if I walk down the street and I see a VFX artist, I most likely don't know who that is. But you have a lot of fans. I mean, even in the chat room, people are just asking you to just say hi to them.
Hey, what's up?
So what was the
What's up, Danny?
like, did you ever think that, okay, maybe we shouldn't put ourselves in our videos, maybe we should just be the people behind the curtain? Or was it always kind of obvious that you would be the faces of it?
So, I mean, it kind of was born out of necessity, and it was kind of pioneered by like Freddie, Brandon, and Sam and Nico of like, you know, you only have a tiny little budget, and you
Well,
can't
it's just
really.
you.
Yeah, it's just you.
Like,
It's just
you have to do everything.
I guess I was the same way when I was making my first test. It was literally like me or my sister or me and my friends. You the same way. You and your friends or sibling. Did you do a video with your brother?
He was in Carbon Warfare.
Okay, yeah. So it's like you can't afford to go out and hire an actor, let alone know how to approach an actor to be like, hey, can you be in my video?
Can you be?
It's not quite in the VFX artist toolkit how to direct actors, how to talk to agents and all of that.
So pretty much everything we do was kind of just like, it all started there, and we just kind of held on to that going forward. You know, like Sam and Nico, they kept being in their own short films. Every now and then they'd have like a more serious short film where they'd get actors for and whatnot, but it's always so much easier to film with what you have, and that's just kind of carried over.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think we're very fortunate in that aspect of being able to become, I guess, personalities in this really niche field where there are no personalities typically.
Yeah, I feel like there's always these two groups. There's the VFX artist group and then the YouTuber group, and very rarely do they overlap. And I hope to see more overlap, honestly, because I think that effects are really useful, not just for people who make them professionally, but just for your average YouTuber as well.
Absolutely, 100%. The more you know.
So what would you say are like some of the more useful things effects-wise that regular YouTubers can implement?
I mean, simple motion tracking for one. Because if you can just track something, it's like tracking something is not that hard. And if you know how to execute on that, like so many doors just right off the bat open up. You can erase signs or add signs or clean up something in your shot. Do you have?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just like when we got access to the motion capture suit, it allowed us to make this the Bosstown Dynamics videos. And if you learn how to maybe do 3D tracking or pull a green screen key, you're gonna unlock. Like your brain is gonna start thinking differently, and you're going to come up with new ideas and cool new ways to make just more updated videos for your audience. So it's the more I think of it as the more you know, the better off you are. The more tools you have to use, the better you are.
It's like unlocking a whole new skill tree. It's like you have this little door, and you're like, and you open the door, and all of a sudden, all these like lines sprout out from it. You're like, oh, which one to choose from? How about all of them, or none of them if I don't feel like it? But the point is that they're there.
Yeah, and I also think that the main kind of barrier to entry for people is that they're scared of the program. They're scared of something they don't understand. And I get it, because I'm often scared of new programs too. Right now on the screen, I'm actually showing Zombie Meat Harvester.
Oh, yeah.
Which I believe is a video that Clinton spent so long learning how to do one thing for that video, which is incredible, right? Because like, how long did you spend doing VFX for this?
Okay, so let's just talk about the one shot. So the one shot.
Yeah, where is it, by the way, in the video? I'll pull it up. Is the slingshot?
Yeah, no. This is the one.
It's when all the meat hits.
This is the one.
Slides down.
Yeah.
Is it towards the end? I'm trying to pull it up right now.
Yeah, it's right after a bunch of zombies get chopped up.
Oh, fun. Okay, here we go.
There are a few of us working on this video doing compositing and whatnot, but Clint was working on one shot. Meanwhile, there's like 30 shots in this video, but he's working on one shot. It was an advanced shot.
Yeah, it is.
But the problem was that like Clint didn't really know how to use this program. He'd been watching tutorials, and of course he had
that shot.
But it was he put himself in a very specific situation of, I have to get this shot done. I don't exactly know how to do it, and it's going to take some time.
That's the best. It's like, yeah, when you can force yourself, like, oh my God, I have to deliver on this. Like, then you have to. So like Bren was saying, I knew I wanted to get good with Cinema 4D, and I just downloaded all the tutorials that I needed to download to learn what I wanted to learn. And I just watched them when I was on the airplane, when I had free time, even before I had jumped into the program. And once I got into the program, I was like, oh, this is kind of familiar. I can see what's going on here. But the shot still took me a week, because there's just a lot of stuff going on that I didn't know how to do. So I just, oh crap, how do I do this? Let me watch a 20-minute tutorial on that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How do I do the next thing? Yeah. Okay. Another 20-minute tutorial.
But now, if you're to go back and read it, so that shot took him a week, like beginning of Monday to the end of Friday.
I hit render and went to the airport and didn't see if the shot was still
good.
I
had to comp the shot, which was easy. Compared to the week you just spent doing it. But if you're to go back and redo that shot, how long do you think it would take you?
I could finish it by the end of the day.
And that's just because like he did that
That's
one
amazing.
thing and it took a lot of time, but he learned so much from it. And then all the things he's done since then, he also has learned from. And it just adds to your skill set and your speed. And over time, suddenly that stuff seems easy in hindsight.
Gary Cross in the chat room says Clinton Wren's passion for learning and sharing their knowledge with others is so refreshing to see. And well, their excitement froze the screen, I think. So let's see if we can get them back. But if you have any questions for Wren and Clinton, go ahead and leave them in the chat room because I will ask them right now before we head out. I think they are frozen. So Clinton and Wren, if you could log out and log back in, perhaps, maybe that would help. In the meantime, I do want to say, if you're just joining me, I am about to do a 45-minute tutorial on After Effects, and you can find all of the notes for the tutorial over on adobe.ly/tipstuesday. So if you go to that website, you will be able to see the entire workbook for this class. And by workbook, it's kind of like a manual. So let me show you what it looks like. This way you don't have to take any notes. You can just use the notes that I give you. So here we go. Let's see, right here. So you'll be able to see all of how to chroma key, how to green screen, exactly what Clint and Wren were talking about content aware fill and all of that kind of stuff. So go ahead and check it out. And yeah, hopefully they'll be back. Hopefully they're not permanently frozen. Let's see if I can get them back somehow. 1 second. Let's see. Can I get them back? Can I get them back? I think they just got so excited by that comment that they blipped out of the simulation, which is fine. Also, if you go to adobe.ly/tipstuesday, you can be entered for a chance to win a full year of Creative Cloud. That's 12 months of the full Creative Suite, which is quite the dealio. So I would highly recommend that you go there and put your information in and enter for a chance to win, because every single week somebody wins. Let's see if the guys are going to be back or not. Hopefully they are. It's kind of difficult for me to run everything at the same time as... Oh, there they are.
What happened?
Hey, you got so excited. Yes, you're back. You got so excited that
Let's share the video that I took of what just happened, but that was one of the most bizarre moments. We're getting all excited, all of a sudden it just goes black. We're like, huh?
I didn't kick anything. Like,
I mean, we had to have. It literally, like, the whole USB device not detected thing showed up and everything.
all right, can we save this? Can we get back on track, or are we past
Yes. No, we're totally fine, you guys. It's totally fine. In fact, this gave people some time to write some questions in the chat room. So Evert asks, Clinton Wren, what has been your most difficult VFX project so far?
Bosstown 2?
Either Bosstown 2 or this live-action Smash Bros.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that took you a long time.
It took like a year, but I'd say I'd probably...
Whoa.
I mean, if we're going back that far, I mean, yeah, I had a Harry Potter short film that took me like half a year to make, and that was like, I had to learn how to do all
year?
Yeah, I had to learn how to do smoke simulations because I shot the whole film without knowing how to do that, and I was just assuming that I would learn how to do it at some point, and I did, so it worked out, but it was not easy. And we've had multiple situations like that here at Corridor since then, too.
I definitely have never spent half a year on something, but I did take me a month to edit something on After Effects before, and I thought I was killing it. So I have a ways to go. Ronald asks, what do you recommend for a person who's trying to get into visual effects?
Make stuff. Just like whatever inspires you. If you saw like some sort of effect that you're like, hey, that seems kind of cool. You know what? Take it and just make it. Yeah. There's nothing stopping you. Download a trial of After Effects. Use your phone camera. Take a little shot. I mean, once you like study enough to know how to like set up your camera, you can set up your phone camera, shoot your plates, shoot your action or whatever, and then just do it. If you're not doing it, then you're just going to think about it forever.
Also,
Yeah.
like go to videocopilot.net and like look at all of Andrew Kramer's tutorials. And like
Yep.
'cause it's the same. Because I'm in the situation right now. I'm trying to learn Unreal Engine, and I don't know what I don't know. So I'm grasping at anything that looks cool, and I'm like asking people, how is this made? How is this done? Like, what tutorials are there for this? And you just have to like, eventually, like the more research you do and the more people you ask, you'll start to know what to Google and what to YouTube. And but like, so just start with like Video Copilot and go there.
When I first started learning visual effects, it was because I discovered Video Copilot, but I didn't have a computer that was powerful enough to do effects at the time. I had like this little college laptop, and I watched every single tutorial on that website. There are 105 of them at the time.
Yep.
And I so by the time I finally opened After Effects for the first time, I felt like I knew how to use it because I already knew the interface. I knew where all the tools were. I didn't really know because I had never really used it, but because I was familiar from having watched every single tutorial, I felt like I knew what I was doing.
I would also say when you are making anything or starting off on any career, the first stuff you make is gonna be bad no matter what. Like you're gonna look back on it 5 years from then and be like, what was I making? So you need to start right now, right? Because if you don't start right now, then you're just pushing off that period of your stuff being shitty. Like you have to, you know, you just have to start making things.
And that's exactly it. I actually really very much so stress that it's quantity over quality in the early days.
That's what Andrew Price was talking about.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's like, you're exactly right. It's going to be bad no matter how much time you put into it, so you might as well just kick out as much as you can and learn as much as you can, because it doesn't matter what you're making. What matters is the next thing you make.
And also, you have to be consistent. If you want to have any sort of large shift in your skill level, you have to do it consistently and bite off little bits at a time. Consistently. If it's not consistent, you're going to fall off the track. So that's a huge thing. You have to be consistent. Don't get bogged down by the fact that like your stuff might look like garbage. My stuff in Unreal looks like garbage right now. I'm trying to fix it, and I know that it's hard. It's hard to go back in, but I have to.
Garbage. It looks like recycling.
Recycle. That's level 5 recycling.
Well, I would definitely say this is a very good piece of advice to leave people on. Just do it. Just start and just output things. And watching tutorials like Andrew Kramer's, watching tutorials like mine that I'm literally about to do is the first step in doing all of that. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Despite the random glitch that happened, we got it back on track.
I think it made it better. I think secretly, I think that was funny. That was fun.
If people want to follow you around on the internet, continue asking you questions, where can they find you?
On Instagram is probably the best place. Yeah. I'm at Surrender. He's at _Punisher.
It's _Punisher_.
Yeah,
it's confusing.
And also Corridor Digital, just Corridor Digital on Instagram. In fact, that video I just took of us freaking out over the messed up whatever happened, I even fell out of my chair by accident. We're gonna post that to the Corridor Digital Instagram story like right now. So go check
I can't wait to see it. I'm so sorry that happened, but I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day. Honestly, bye.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for having us.
Of course. Bye.
See you later.
All right, so that was our chat with Corridor Digital. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you found it useful. They're super inspirational to me, and I'm a huge fan of theirs. So if you want to go check out their Instagrams, go check out their YouTube channel, go check all the things out. But for now, we're going to get into an After Effects tutorial. Now, the things that I've decided to focus with this After Effects tutorial is how to take your footage and make it better, how to augment your footage. What I mean by that is, how do you not just track a mask, but track it automatically? How do you input a plane into 3D space? Last week, we talked about how to like tack on some text onto a moving object in 2D space. How do you do it in 3D space? So this is kind of a build on last week. Again, if you want to see last week's live stream, or if you want to get all of the live streams that I've done over the past 10 weeks, including all of the manuals with step-by-step instructions on how to do everything, you can go to adobe.ly/tipstuesday. So go check it out there, because that is going to be your main source for everything. Now, let's get into it. Let me open up After Effects and let's get into it. So here I am inside of After Effects. Hopefully you're not that intimidated by it because you've seen it before because of last week. But if you haven't, it's pretty simple. Here I have, whoop, let me pull that up on the side so that I know what I'm looking at. One sec. It's pretty simple. We have our composition here, we have our timeline here, and we have our assets here, and that's what we're working with. So the first asset that we are going to use is this video called Stamps. And let me turn on my zoom tool so that we can see it a little bit better. Let's see here. One sec. Okay, so we have this video up here called Stamps, and if we double click on it, it pulls up here in the footage window, and we can see what it actually is. Basically, imagine you're a YouTuber and you're making a video about how to save the post office and you're showing off the forever stamps in your video. The only problem with this clip, however, is that we have this in the frame. And this is copyrighted material. This is a box from a hard drive that I have. So we don't want that. But luckily, after I shot this video, or after I took my hand out of the frame, I went ahead and I physically removed that box out of the frame. So I removed it. So now there's nothing in there. So now it's empty, right? So how do I make sure that my box is removed, but still keep the footage from when my hand and my stamp crosses that area, right? Well, one thing you could do is mask it. So if I take the stamps, if I take the stamps file and I drag it down here to new composition. So I create a new composition out of this file. So now this is a new comp that just has the file on it. Remember last week when we were talking about masking? So I could duplicate this, Command D. So now I duplicated it. And with the top layer, I can go ahead and I can go to the pen tool right up here. And I can draw a mask around my hand. Let me just do like a crude mask for now, just to kind of show you what it looks like. There we go. Okay. Kind of like that, right? So if I turn the visibility off of the bottom layer, you can see that that is just my hand. Then I can go into the mask options here. And for now, I'll do, instead of add, I'll do none, so you can see everything. And I can turn the mask path stopwatch on. And then what I'll have to do is I'll have to go through and adjust the mask for different places in time so that it kind of travels along with the hand and with the stamps. This is very rough, right? But I'll basically have to do this a lot, and it'll take me a long time to make it perfect, to make the mask so perfect that then I can go ahead and just like replace the footage underneath. Well, you don't have to do this. When you're making a mask, you do not have to do this any longer. You can use a really cool feature called Rotobrush. So let me show you how to use that instead of masking. So I'm going to just delete this top layer. It's gone. Now the bottom layer stays, and I'm going to turn the visibility on that layer again. And I will actually still duplicate it. So I'm going to duplicate it and I'm going to work on the top layer. Let me change the color of it. Let me make it peach just so you can see it. So I'll go to the frame where I have my hand here, and you have to go to the Rotobrush control, which is right up here. This says Rotobrush. So this will help you rotoscope it, which means trace it using a brush technique. So I'm going to go over to Rotobrush. And now I have the ability to draw on the screen. However, right now I am in the composition window. So you can see that I'm in the composition window. I need to be in the layer window for this. So I'm just going to double click on this layer. So now, as you can see, it's the layer window instead. And now my mouse has become this green circle. You can see it's a green circle. And let me actually take off the little highlight that I have on my mouse right now so you could see it a little bit better. 1 second. No. All right, it's fine. So I'll go back to the layer option and I'll turn on Rotobrush. So it's this green circle, and all you have to do is you have to just draw a line through the area that you want to, let's just say, mask. And you can see it highlights it in this bright pink kind of highlight. And you can just go ahead and keep drawing over the areas that you want highlighted. If it goes a little bit over the edge, you can just hold down Option or Alt, and you could subtract from that area to make it a little bit more accurate. And I'm just going to draw over all of the areas that are still left out. So there we go. Yeah, so there we go. So I did that in just a few seconds, and it highlighted absolutely everything that I need highlighted. You can also change the size of the brush if you would like by holding down Command and then clicking and dragging up and down. So that changes the size of the brush. So now that I've changed the size of my brush, I can take a look at, if I go down here to the little options to see the different ways that it can be displayed, I can see it more clearly. So I can see little overlays and make sure that it's fully outlined the way that I want it to be. So now I'm just gonna propagate it by just playing the clip forward. And you can see as it's playing, it's kind of rendering a little bit past and in front of the current time indicator. So it's rendering all of this area. Well, it's not rendering, it's like it's drawing keyframes for that area. So you can see as I move my mouse now, that little pink outline moves. If I do this overlay, you can see it a little bit more clearly. So the pink outline moves. And I can move my brush a little bit forward here. Okay, that looks good to me. And I can keep just playing it. I can even go hold down Command and go 1 frame to the right and just go frame by frame. So let's just pretend that I've done this already, because I have. And let's open that up. So now I have this. Let me open up the footage layer. So now I have this. This is all already done. There it is. So I have propagated it throughout the entire length of the composition. So you can see as my hand comes out, it automatically tracked my hand and the stamps around. Somebody in the chat room, Kohot, says 10,000% easier. Yeah, so this tool is insane. You're right, Ingrid. It's pretty cool, right? It's wild. So now take a look. So now I had, let me go back to the composition window here. So remember how I had that what happened? I had that branded little area right here. So I can go ahead and put a clean plate in between these two layers. So I'm just going to turn that clean plate on. And as you can see, now that's gone. It was there, now it's gone. So as my hand crosses it, it is no longer there. And you can even put text on it. So I wrote this text and I gave it a little bit of animation. And because the entire thing has been roto-brushed. You can put text or whatever you want behind it. And it takes just a few seconds, honestly. Way, way easier than masking. Pretty cool, right? If you think this is cool, give a little clap in the comments. That way I know that you're here and you're paying attention and you're following along. Again, if you're not following along for any reason, that's totally fine, because you can always watch the replay of this over here at adobe.ly/tipstuesday. And if you want, you can go there and you can get the full manual, which explains everything in detail, what to click, how to do it, etc., etc., etc. So this is Rotobrush. Rotobrush 2, actually, because there's a new update in After Effects that made it even better than it was before. All right, so now that you have roto-brushed it, let's take a look at getting rid of things in your frame. This is something that is super useful and I use all the time. So let's take a look at this clip over here of this guy running. So this is a clip of the UCLA campus, and I just did it on my iPhone, so there's no stabilization, nothing. And as I tilt down to reveal the sculpture garden, there is this person running through the frame, right? And his shadow. I want to get rid of him, but I don't have a clip like I did before. So you know how in this clip, in the stamps composition, I had a version where there was a clean plate, right? So there was this plate and it was clean because I had removed the offending object and my camera was in the same position as before. However, now in this guy running clip, not only is my camera moving and my subject is moving, but I have no other clip that I could replace here and just get rid of him and mask him out. So what do? Content aware fill, folks. It's the coolest thing. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to take the clip of the guy running and I'm going to drag it into this new composition button right here, create a new composition. So let me just drag it in. There we go. So yes, I want to get rid of that, right? Let me make it full resolution so you can see it a little bit better. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pen tool. And I'm going to draw a little mask around him and his shadow. So I'm going to go up here to the pen tool in my tools, in my toolbar. And I'm going to draw very crude. It doesn't have to be super, super accurate. It just has to cover his entire body here. Yep. So I'm basically telling the program, like, this is what I want you to get rid of and fill in everything else. And of course, when I close the mask, it shows my background layer, right? So instead of that, I'm going to go over to the masks, and for the mask mode, I'm going to do none. That way I can still see my little outline, but I can see everything else. And here in masks, I'm going to do the thing that I did before, which you have to do manually, which is track the mask, or not track the mask, which is change the mask over time. So I'm going to turn on the stopwatch to create keyframes. So that has now created a keyframe right here. And I'll go a little bit backwards in time, and I can press V to change this to a selection tool, move it around. I can change up my mask a little bit. There we go. Oop. Let me zoom in and just adjust my mask around the jogger. So then I'm going to go in between. Okay, that works. I'm going to keep doing it as I see fit for the entire clip. Now, of course, this is boring to watch me do it, so of course I've already done it for you. Let me just pull it up here. Nope, not that one. This one. Okay, so here I've put in all of the keyframes already for the mask, so you can see them here. And what I've also done is I have trimmed my work area. So this is this This is this light gray bar that's right here. So basically I'm telling the program that it's only this section of the clip that I will need you to work really hard on. Everything else is totally cool. And the way that I did that is you can just grab the bar and you can drag it. So here in the original one that I was working on here, you can just drag the work area bar over. So here I have created all of the keyframes, and if I take a look at the mask, it's this light blue outline. Let me actually change it to something you might be able to see a little bit better. Hot pink. Yeah, there we go. And just move it around so you watch how the mask kind of changes as he moves. I made sure to include the shadow as well. There we go. So now that I have all of that masked, I'm actually going to change the mask mode from none to subtract. So now there's this giant hole right here where our object should go. And it's not actually filled with black, it's transparent. So if you click on the transparency button, toggle the transparency grid, you'll be able to see that it's transparent. So now I'll go over to the Content Aware Fill window, or the Content Aware Fill panel. And if you don't see it, you can go to Window and then just choose Content Aware Fill. Make sure that that is checked so that you see the panel. So now that I'm in the Content Aware panel and I've selected the layer and I've made sure to trim my work area and I have set the mask to subtract, you can see right here, it reads the mask. It asks, okay, do you want to like expand the alpha? Yeah, I do. I tend to like expanding it. So I say 10. The fill method is object. The range is the work area. So only look at the work area. And then I'm just going to click generate fill layer. And it's going to take a little bit of time. It's actually working pretty quickly, which I'm excited about. It's currently at 30%. So when it's done, we'll take a look at it. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat. Also, we have some gurus from After Effects in the chat who are going to be able to answer all of your questions as well. So let's just say that we have already created that fill layer. So what will happen when you create it is it'll create a PNG sequence above the layer that you're working on. And take a look at what happens when it's done. I'm just gonna play it through. It might play through a little bit slower. Let me change the resolution. It's funny because it was playing through very well earlier today, but as you can see, it's gotten rid of the guy completely. So let me see if I can fully play it. Oh, you know what? It might be, the process might be happening in the background over here. Nope. Okay. So as you can see, the camera pans down and the guy is totally and completely gone. This can work for a lot of different situations. It doesn't have to be just one person. So here he is. I think we're just having a lot of, our playback is just too intense. So let me play it back a little bit easier. That is maybe too much, but yeah. So the guy is gone. There is no guy. Anyway, let's move on. So I also have it for a couple of other clips. So I did the same thing here. As you can see, this is again the UCLA campus, except we have a jogger right here, and we have a guy walking his dog right here, and we have a bicycle right here, and we have a couple people right here. So what I did for this was I went ahead and I created separate masks for everybody. So as you can see here, there's 4 masks, and let me actually make this one like hot pink again so you can see it a little bit better. There's 4 masks, and as the clip progresses, the masks move throughout the clip. I'll give the clip some time to catch up, but there we go. So you can do the same thing when you have 4 masks as when you have 1 mask. So you can go to content aware fill. You can make sure that all of the masks are on subtract, and it will read it, and you can say generate fill layer, and then in the end what will happen is that it will fill in those gaps and it'll get rid of all of the people in your frame. So this is kind of like Photoshop but in real time. I don't know why it's not playing through, but you can see it here. Oh, now it's gonna work. Hello, please play. There we go. You can see the joggers completely gone, whereas before they were in here. Before it looked like this with the joggers jogging and all the other people in the frame, and now it looks like this. But both of these were kind of in 2D space. What if you're moving in 3D space around something? You can still get it done, believe it or not. So here is a little clip I have of a permit on the side of the curb. And as you can see, I move all the way around the permit and I come in closer to it too, right? I physically walk closer. Well, all you got to do is, again, draw a mask around that object, the same thing as before. And I'm going to go to subtract again. So now it's completely transparent. And you can, again, go to content aware fill, generate that fill, and now it is completely gone. Wow. This is quite wild. Omar Green asks, can you remove the background? Yeah, there's some options for surface and edge blend here, but this is really meant to remove objects instead. So that is our second really fun tool that is called Content Aware Fill. Now let's take a look at something that was actually requested earlier, which was our green screen. So this is a little clip of me on a green screen. The most important thing when you're shooting on a green screen is that the entire green screen is the same color green. It could be any color green or blue. I mean, ideally you wouldn't have a blue screen if you have blue hair like mine, right? But it could be any color green. And as long as it's consistent and not too bright in one spot, you'll be cool. So again, we're going to take this clip and we're going to drag it to a new composition. So now the composition is just this one clip. And I will go ahead and I'll go to composition settings, and I'll set the background color to red so that I can really see it stand out. Then I'll go to my pen tool again, and I'll draw a mask just on the very inside of this green screen, because it doesn't really matter what's outside the green screen, right? It's my ugly room. Nobody wants to see that. So there we go. Now I have the green and I have the background color set to red, but it's actually transparent. The red is just for me to be able to see it better later. So now I will go ahead and chroma key this. I'll go to effects and presets, and I'll go to keying, and there's this effect here called key light. So all you have to do is take the effect and drag it on top of the clip. And there's just a couple of options that you should be messing with. The first one is screen color, which is this little box here. So you can take the eyedropper tool and try to pick a screen color that is pretty much neutral throughout the whole thing. So one click, bam, that looks pretty good already. Except when I click out of it, you can see there is still a little bit of like darkness. It did really well up here, but it's dark over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with four things. I'm going to play with screen gain, screen balance, clip black, and clip white. So these are the 4 things that I'm going to use to adjust my key and clean it up a little bit. As you can see, if I change screen balance all the way up, it goes into fully transparent mode right here. So I definitely don't want to do that. So I'm going to take it kind of down the middle and then kind of here. I'll take clip black. There we go. Now, if you really want to see what it's doing, instead of final result, so instead of viewing the final result in the key light settings, go ahead and do status instead. And this will show you all of the areas that are white are the ones that have been keyed out completely. All of the areas that are this gray color are semi-transparent, and all the black areas are transparent. So in this way, you can go ahead and play around. That looks a lot better, right? But my hair being blue, there's still a little bit of fuzziness in this area. So I'll change it back to final result. And you can't really tell, but my hair is a little bit transparent. So I'm just going to go to advanced spill suppressor over here and drag that drag that effect onto the clip as well. And for the method, this is important. I'm just going to do ultra, right? So now it's asking me, okay, to do a key color again. So I can take the eyedropper tool and drop the exact key color from the screen color of the effect before it. There we go. And voila, I know you can't tell it there, but for me, you can tell, maybe you can tell by just looking at the hair, because before I did advanced spill suppressor, my hair was a lot greener. So this is without the advanced spill suppressor, and this is with. So it has turned to that really nice, solid blue that we love. And then I'll go ahead and just drop a background file right underneath it. And there we go. Now I can select the layer on top, move myself around, and there we go. We have me on a background, beautifully keyed, and voila. Glad you guys are enjoying it. If you're enjoying it, give me a blue heart in the chat room if you are enjoying the tutorial, because we're not done. We have one last thing. Do you want one last thing? I know we're coming up to 12 right now, but I could still show you one last thing if you wanted to. So let me know in the comments. This is about 3D tracking and sticking a flat image onto a 3D plane if you're interested. Looks like I'm getting some blue hearts in the chat room, which is awesome. Yeah, let me know if you want me to do one more thing or if you are pieced out and ready to hit the hay. Anyway, okay, I'll do it. So this one, let's just go back to this clip from earlier. Remember how I got rid of it before with the content aware fill? Now, instead of getting rid of it, I want something new to be written on it. So right now it says blue permit required at all times. That seems boring to me. But you know something that I've always dreamed about and I've always wanted? I've always wanted my own parking spot. Ever since I saw the parking spots at, what was it? The Fox lot? Yeah, I believe the Fox Studios lot. There was a parking spot reserved for Ron Howard. I've always wanted a reserved parking spot. So I made one, reserved parking, for Valentina Vee. I made it in Photoshop. And what I want to do is I want to stick this sign onto this sign right here. But the problem is that it's in 3D space. So how do I deal with this sign being in 3D space? And how do I stick my sign on top of it, right? So again, I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to go to that clip and drag it into the new composition. So now my composition is just this one clip. And over here in the tracker menu or in the tracker panel, and again, if you don't have the tracker panel open on your computer, you can always go to Window tracker and make sure that that is selected. So last week we did track motion, and that was to stick something onto a 2D plane. Now we're going to track camera. So I'm just going to select track camera, and that's it. That's all I have to do. And it's going to analyze in the background, and it's going to track the camera throughout this entire selection. So let's just go to where it's already tracked. Oh, sorry. I accidentally jumped into the wrong place. Okay. So when it's finished tracking, what you'll see is you'll see all of these little dots all over, these little multicolored dots. And as you hover your mouse, you'll also start seeing this red bullseye. And this red bullseye is basically going to triangulate between 3 different dots to show you, okay, what plane do you want to stick your flat footage on? Do you want to stick it on the ground? No. Do you want to stick it on the curb here? No. Do you want to stick it on this sign? Yes, please. So that's what I'm going to click on. I want to stick it onto this sign. And then I'm going to just say right click, and it's going to say, okay, what do you want to do on top of the sign? I want to create a solid and a camera. So when I click create solid and camera, it's going to place a solid red square on top of it. And as I go through it, I can just double check that that solid red square is moving in the way that I want it to move. I'm going to replace it in just a sec, but I just want to make sure that it's doing its thing. It looks good to me. So it's added that solid red square here. So it's added a camera, and it's added that solid red square. So instead of the solid red square, I'm going to put in my new sign. So I'm going to right click on the layer, and I'm going to go to pre-compose. So I'm going to create a pre-composition. And for those of you who are new to After Effects, a pre-composition is a comp within a comp. It's a sequence within a sequence. It's a way that you can kind of Russian nesting doll your entire composition. So it's asking me for a composition name, and I'm going to call this new sign for me. Okay. And it opens it in a new composition. And of course, it's just an ugly red square, right? So I can go ahead, and instead of the ugly red square, I can choose my my new background, which is, where did I put it? New sign.png. There it is. So I'll just drag new sign.png on top of the red square. I'll resize it a little bit. If you hold down shift, you can resize it while keeping the proportions the same. And I'll delete the red square in the background. So you can see now it's transparent, and it's just the sign, not the red square. And I'll go back to my previous composition, which is right here. Nope, hold on. Right there. That's where it was. So now what it's done is it has put the sign on top of the other sign, except it doesn't quite cover it, and it's not quite the right rotation. So I'll go ahead and just open up the effect controls here, the transform controls, and now I can change it. But before I change it, I'll just take the opacity down a little bit so I can see the sign that's behind it. And I can use the rotational controls a little bit. Z rotation, there we go. There we go. That looks good for the end. Let's see what it looks like in the beginning. Okay, so it needs to be changed a little bit for the end and the beginning, so I can keyframe it. So I'll keyframe all of the properties at the end by just clicking my mouse and dragging over all of the stopwatches. I'll go here in the middle, and I'll just adjust it. You can also just pull on these green, red, and blue arrows to reposition it in 3D space. And I'll go ahead and I'll rotate it a little bit. Nope, not that way. I'll rotate it in Z space. That looks good. And then I'll rotate it in X space here. There we go. So now, yeah, that looks good to me. And I'll take the opacity back down to 100. And then I can play the clip. And it is fully tracking that sign. And that, my friends, is it. Wow, 114 people still watching, which means that I wasn't that boring and that you paid attention. So congratulations. If you would like to see the replay of this video, so I know I went a little bit fast, so you can see the entire replay here. You can also get the manual, which is going to basically be your notes so that you don't have to take notes. I already did the notes for you, and I'm giving you a free PDF so you can download them here. If you learned anything new from this live stream, please let me know in the comments right now, because I would love to know that I was the person to show you something that you didn't know before. Let's see. Queen Sheeran says this was helpful. Thank you so much. Caleb's here. Hey, Caleb. Good to see you. Thanks for joining the live. Wes says Adobe Care, buy her a new computer. It's not my computer. It's just like the Zoom program that I have. My computer's actually pretty great, to be quite honest. It's the Zoom program, and it's also, I don't know, some things just don't work when you want them to, you know what I mean? Like, for example, when I was showing you the jogger, now it's working fine. So you can see that the jogger is gone. So sometimes things just don't work in the moment, and you don't know why. And so before, remember, with Content Aware, you had the jogger here, and now the jogger is completely gone with the Content Aware and his shadow. It's not always the computer. It could be user error too. Thank you, Erica. She said she learned a lot. Aaliyah says, I didn't know you could edit people out. Honestly, like, it's actually fairly new. I feel like the Content Aware fill has been around for maybe like 2 years, so don't feel bad if you haven't done it. Advanced Spill Suppressor is new for Kohat. Maybe that's how you say your name. Cool. I'm glad that you learned something new. Jessica says, I've been struggling with the 3D space so much. This helped a lot. Oh, I am so happy. I wonder if I can also show you it with 2 different views. Kind of. So what you can see here, what actually happened was right here, this little triangle is the camera. So the camera is right here, and you can see where it's looking. It's looking in this direction. And this is our new sign. This is the sign that we put together. So what happens when you look at 3D space like this, all I did was I went down here to the views, and I changed it to 2 views instead of 1. So 1 view would be just your final result, and 2 views, you can kind of see an overhead shot of the camera. And as you move through the frame, you can see what the fake camera that they created is doing, which is pretty cool. And it automatically understood what the focal length is, what the location is. There's a lot of really powerful AI capabilities that After Effects has. Well, I am so happy that you were here. And you learn new things. Looks like Bruno learned a lot of new things. He's in Berlin. Looks like Fernando learned some new things. I'm so happy that you learned something new. Again, if you would like to get all of this information, I keep pointing at this link because it's a private link, right? It's not available to everyone. It's only available to people who come to this live stream like yourself. So I'm really excited that I can bring this to you. Next week, we will be talking about productions. So if you've never used the productions feature in Premiere Pro, you don't even know what it is, or you would like to learn more about how to manage a project that perhaps has footage from all kinds of different days and episodes that aren't dependent on the footage, and you're tired of having your Premiere projects super heavy and bloated, when you have a lot of files in your Premiere project and it takes forever to open, no more. You can solve that problem with productions. So I'm also going to have a few awesome special guests as well. So definitely tune in next week, same time, same place. And until then, have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.